All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Merely Bo, the great Z. What is this emblem on your hat?
It is just it's the compass. With
Yeah,
some,
I was going to
some
say,
good
like
phrases around it, some
like the
meaningful things.
We got Coach.
Whoa, we got Coach
Well, then there we go.
live to the podium.
You're down.
Okay, first want to say congratulations to Christian Kirksey, Rashard Higgins retiring as Browns today, which I think is a pretty cool deal, having those guys in the building today. It's also great to have our team in the building. Starting yesterday was the first day of school. As you know, this building is at its best when it has players in here. It's boring when they're not here. So we were very excited to see their smiling faces coming in this building and get some work in yesterday and today. And as you know, phase one, we're in the classroom with the guys. Then they're in the weight room. They're on their own in there with the strength coaches. So phase one, 2 weeks worth of getting some really solid work in. And I think it's been really positive first couple days. So excited about that. But with that, I'll take any questions.
Kevin, do you save your welcome back address till training camp, or do you do it yesterday?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, Tony. I think part of yesterday's welcome back and checking in on the guys and seeing how everybody's doing, of course, and see where everybody's been. And then you also have mandatory mini camp as another milepost in this. And then to your point, you have training camp, which really kicks off that season. But in a lot of ways, yesterday is the first day of the 2024 season.
I know you're not doing any practicing yet, but what are your expectations for Deshaun as we go through this, and how much do you expect him to throw over the next couple months, I guess?
Yeah, they have a very, very good plan. Deshaun, the medical team, of ramping him up and throwing and getting, he's doing all the things he's supposed to be doing when it comes to rehab. So when we get to those points in OTAs and minicamp, we'll go with what's suggested by the medical team. But he's doing a great job.
The timeline now crystallized a little bit with Nick Chubb coming off those two surgeries. Do you have a better idea of how much more time he's going to need to be able to return?
I don't know that we'll go past, today and this week. At least that's the way I'm looking at it. I can promise you he's working very hard. Early in the morning, he's here. He's attacking his rehab. That's the best way I can put it. When he's ready, he'll be ready.
In Orlando, Andrew said he was going to start running that week. Is he, in fact, doing that?
He's. I'm not going to get into the specifics of the rehab, but he's doing everything he's supposed to be doing.
Kevin, how do you think the throwing will work out? Do you think that Jameis will get a ton of work? Will you guys kind of take it easy with Deshaun as you ramp him up, and that will give Jameis and Tyler a lot of work?
We'll try to do what's ever appropriate, Mary Kay, and for me, that's leaning on the medical staff and Deshaun and making sure that we have a plan and we'll stick to it. Obviously, with constant communication between all parties, and if there's days where now it's next man up, Jameis will get some more throws, which I think is great for him as well. But we'll really work all of that out as we get into those days.
And how about your tackles, Kevin? Jack Conklin, Wills, and Dewan, how are they coming?
They're all doing great. All of them are at different points in their rehab. Those are 3 different injuries, same position, but 3 different injuries. So we're going to treat them as such. But again, these guys are working very, very hard to get back ASAP.
As far as the offensive meetings at this point, is Dorsey starting to unveil your new playbook?
Yeah, sure, of course. That's what Coach Dorsey is doing right now with the offense and then with the quarterbacks as well, trying to catch these guys up on a bunch of the things that we're doing. Some are the same, some are different, but Coach Dorsey is doing a really nice job.
How important is this time of the year when you have so much change among that offensive staff?
I think you can get a lot of work done in April, both as a team and as a unit and as a coaching staff. I would tell you it's really fun to watch our coaches coach. It's fun for me to sit in meetings and listen to our coaches coach, whether it's Coach Schwartz or Bubba, Coach Dorsey, our position coaches, and then when we finally get out in the field to watch them work, because that's what we're here to do. So it's fun to watch these guys get going. Now, as you can imagine, in day 2, you don't throw the entire playbook at the guys, so you're taking a very measured approach to how you put together the schemes and what you're doing. This first week is, in a lot of ways, an onboarding week and bringing guys up to speed on our position expectations, some of the basics of our scheme, and then really spending time with each player and going over an improvement plan, if you will, making sure these guys understand that each one of them is expected to get better, and here are the ways we're going to help them do that.
Kevin, a year ago, the defense was where the offense is this year, learning a new scheme and everything. How does that change for the defense this year now, coming into year 2? Do you is there an expectation, at least the guys that are returning, an expectation to be a little farther advanced, when they get into the classroom?
Schwartz hit that with the defense yesterday as well. It is year 2 in the system, so you're building off of a lot of what we did last year. And there's varying levels of understanding. There's some guys that are second-year players in the NFL. And then there's Rodney McLeod. There's Denzel, guys that have been in this game for a little bit. So all of them can brush up, if you will, on the system. And then we're going to challenge them. We're going to, obviously, in year 2, you're going to add some things and maybe subtract a few things. But we'll challenge each one of these guys, whether they were here previously or not.
When you get to the practice field, some of the offensive changes, are they going to be real noticeable or more subtle?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, Daryl. I think it's probably a better question for you guys when you tell me when you see it. And I think that's one of those things with us. We love to watch tape of different teams and steal from other teams and evolve and that type of thing. So there are certain things within that process that are very, very, very subtle that you may not pick up on, and it may be how we call things or how we rule things. And for any player, an offensive lineman, a wide receiver, some of their rules may change, so it may not be as overt. But I think it's something that happens every season in this league where you have to be evolving. You cannot stay the same. I just think the other coaches in this league are too good, and if you just throw it up on the board and say, hey, it worked last year, it's going to work this year, I just don't think that's fair. I have too much respect for the other coaches and players in this league.
What kind of challenges does it present you that you've got Deshaun coming off the injury, you've got a new offensive coordinator, a whole new staff, a new receiver, trying to put the whole thing together, and yet you have to ramp him up and kind of take your time with him a little bit?
I think that's our job, Mary Kay, is to put the system together with the players in mind. And obviously we'll make sure that we are smart about Deshaun's rehab and focus on getting him ready for the season. And when he's ready to contribute in practice, he'll be out there based on what the medical staff tells us. Now, having said that, we're putting the system together. We're full speed ahead and in these meeting rooms, and when we get out on that practice field, we'll constantly trying to get better as an offense, but we're not going to speed Deshaun up just to get the offense sped up.
Kevin, along those lines, I mean, the running back room, obviously you guys have a handful of new guys, and Deuce being the new position coach in the room. What's it like just kind of figuring out the day-to-day when you also have Nick going through the rehab and, not being sure entirely what he's going to be able to do and just planning out how that's going to look like day-to-day in the offseason?
Yeah, I think you guys will be you'll really enjoy watching. Speaking of watching coaches coach, you'll enjoy watching Deuce coach. You'll hear Deuce coaching before you see him. He's somebody that played this game at a high level, has coached at a high level. I think he's a really well-respected voice in this building and in the league, and certainly in that running back room. Those guys will understand what's expected of them. Like you mentioned, Ashley, there are a bunch of new faces, and that's our job as coaches and players is to get to know each other right now. That's a huge part of this offseason program. So that is definitely happening in the running back room. And to your point, it's happening from player to player, coach to player as well.
Kevin, injuries are always part of this, and you guys certainly had your share last year. In terms of like any best practices or anything, any major changes in terms of conditioning, downtime, anything like that to keep these guys as healthy as possible? It's
a good question. We look at everything. Certainly you want to keep guys available to your team as much as you can within reason. We know football can be a violent sport and a physical sport, and there's certain things that we know aren't going to change about the game as it's being played, but we always want to be smart about how we operate in this building, whether it be from training, from the weight room, how we meet, how we structure the day. Certainly is something that we're constantly looking at. And if there's a way to positively affect player availability, we'll certainly explore those things.
I think we asked you at the Combine, working with Ken Dorsey and working on this offense, if there was a shared philosophy that you guys had gotten together. Now that you've had the time to really make the playbook and you're heading into these workouts, have you identified something that you guys it's a staple point for you guys in the offense?
I would just tell you, Cam, that from a philosophical standpoint, we see the game very, very similarly, and those are the type of things that we're talking to our players about and how we're trying to structure our offense, and I think you'll hear from Ken and the players as we get going. But so much of this is very similar to how we have always seen it, which is to be an attacking offense and be multiple in a bunch of different ways. How it all unfolds is still something that, in phase one, you're trying to put pieces together and install your system so that you can evolve as you see what players are emerging, see what players come out of the draft, for instance, so that you are ready to put the offense together that fits your guys best.
Where are you at on the offensive play calling decision?
We're not there. I'll let Tony know first. Then Tony can tell you, Jake.
This is a serious question. Has any offensive player asked you who's calling plays?
No. I'll also let you know.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Kevin, do you kind of expound on what his role is now with the team?
Yeah. Coach Vrabes has been awesome having him up here for a few weeks this offseason. For me and for us, we're just excited to add a really smart football person into our building, a guy who's had success as a player, a guy who's had success as a coach. He's a huge resource for me. He's a huge resource for Andrew in varying ways. The exact role, how it unfolds, that's really up to him and making sure that, I'm not asking too much of him, if you will, but I just don't think you can have enough good people. I've been told you can't have enough good Buckeyes as well.
Is he here for this?
I'm not allowed, we're not doing attendance right now, so I can't tell you whether or not he's here.
But I mean, is there a role for him at this stage of your season?
Yes, but there's certain things that you don't have to be in the building to do as well.
Any sense yet whether what kind of energy Jameis is going to bring, what kind of leadership he's going to bring to the table for you guys?
I think when you spend time with Jameis, you definitely get a sense for the type of energy he brings. Very positive energy, a lot of whether it's in the building, in the weight room, in the hallway, in the meeting rooms, he's somebody that is constantly wanting to get to the bottom of what we're doing from a playbook standpoint. And in the weight room, he's here early. He stays late. Really impressed with what Jameis is going to bring to this football team.
Is Nine still rehabbing from the ACL?
He is.
You know when will be able to be on the field?
Not sure.
Kevin, how much has Bubba talked about impact of the new kickoff rule, and how much has he sort of gotten in the lab and tried to think of ways that to take advantage of that new rule?
We've spent a lot of time on that, Chris, Bubba, myself, Stephen Bravo Brown, Coach Vrabel's helped in this as well, because we're all trying to understand this hybrid kickoff. It's new for everybody. So we look at that as a great opportunity in this league to add an exciting play for this game. And it's another touch for an offensive player. It's another opportunity to get a tackle for a defensive player or an offensive player on special teams. So we're excited about what it is, but we're working through it. I don't think anybody in the league can tell you exactly how it's going to look, but that's an opportunity for us. So we've spent a lot of time on the board with it. Bubba's been in the indoor literally with a helmet on, taking drops, which is true. So we want to be as prepared as we can be, but I don't know that there's any club that knows exactly how it's going to look.
Do you think it's going to impact roster?
Potentially, yeah. It's another good question. Potentially, I don't know, because without knowing exactly how the play looks, you have some ideas and you try to think about what player and what body type may make more sense for that play now that it's the hybrid kickoff. But I really don't know if anybody knows for sure.
That's another coaching challenge for you guys guys to figure this out, not just you, but the other 31 teams. Because the kickoff, as the league has talked about, it had just become ceremonial with touchbacks so much.
Right.
Is setting aside your coaching hat for a moment, is that something that you feel the league kind of needed to do, was find a way to get that play when you talk about, hey, it's another opportunity for an offensive player to touch the ball? And that,
right.
Is that something the league needed to do, is find a way to make that play similar to what they did with the PAT?
Good question. We're in favor of keeping the foot in football. We're in favor of an exciting play for our fans. I think our players understand that while we may not know exactly what it looks like, it's going to involve blocking and tackling and running. So it's still the game that we know. The play will be new. And again, I don't want to make it seem like I know exactly what the play is going to be like. I know what the rules are. I know how we're drawing it up and how we're going to teach it, but we have to be ready to evolve as the season goes, and people are starting to try different schemes. I think that's the exciting part for us, but at the end of the day, we're adding an exciting play back into the game.
Obviously not taking attendance right now, like you mentioned, but for guys that aren't here through now and maybe throughout the spring, just how do you go about keeping them in the loop on things and making sure that they're getting up to speed on some new things like with the offense?
It's a good question. For us, we really focus on the guys that are here. It's just how the rules are. It's a voluntary program. The guys that are here, we coach them up. The guys that aren't here, we're excited to see them when they come back. Certain guys, as you know, will come in maybe next week, for instance. But that's just something that we continue to work through, and we'll catch the guys up when we see them.
How is Dorian coming along, and do you anticipate he'll be throwing during OTAs at all?
He's another one of those guys in that training room working very, very, very hard. He's doing a great job in there. He's doing a great job in the meetings. We'll see when he's ready to go. That's when the doctors tell us he's ready. He'll be ready.
Fieldhouse yet?
It's there. Have you guys been back there? There's construction. It's ongoing. It's right outside my office. So there's been a few times where damn near jumped out of my desk. But they're doing a nice job back there. It's going to be pretty special, and obviously I think we'll spend some time back there and show you guys what's going on. But our players are very excited about it. I can tell you, it's another example of Dee and Jimmy and the resources that they're willing to put into this football team is very much appreciated from myself and our players.
A second where you thought about doing the awkward dad dance at the Final Four?
There was not a half a second. No, there was less than that. All right. Thanks, guys.
You're up.
Were you there, Tom?
All right, there you go. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous out there today.
It really is.
So is that houndstooth from the...
This is the old Nance collection.
I
This is
know.
old. I haven't brought this out in a while. What are you, Heart of Jim Nance?
Come on. That was almost insulting that you felt the need
It
to
was.
say that.
I'm sorry. I haven't worn it in a while.
Well,
I found it in the back of the closet.
Yeah, but that houndstooth
And
is
it's
so
just
distinctive.
gorgeous. It really is. I wonder if he's still doing that.
The Nance collection?
Yeah. That was a
Living at Pebble Beach?
Was that a what year would that have been? That would have been pre-COVID.
Yeah, 18, 19.
I would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to still be doing it. Why
when
wouldn't
that
he?
hit, when we became aware of living at Pebble Beach and the quarter zip phenomenon, I felt like we went more casual post-COVID.
Went more to hoodies.
Yeah, I think we went more casual. Yeah, all right. So it's all right. There is no. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Men collections. What's new? I don't see the collaborations. MLB, NFL, collegiate. I do not see any, like, it doesn't look like it's its own breakout page anymore. Let's see.
I have
if
a Vineyard Vines one. I'm at vineyardvines.com, the Jim
too.
Nance collection, and then you click on it, it says,
Where did you
Oops,
see it?
Oops, Destination Unknown.
Yeah, I think it's out.
So that's
I'm on their site now. I'm looking at their quarter zips. There's nothing.
So you have a classic. Yeah, you have the Pescadero.
None of those are there
They had
anymore.
a 2022 U.S. Open one. They had a Pebble Beach wool half slip by Vineyard Vines from the Nance collection. The men's 22 U.S. Open Vineyard Vines red Jim Nance quarter zip sweatshirt out of stock. Looks like you got to go to eBay if you want to get wet your beak on a little Vineyard Vines.
Oh, it's done. It's done. He's out.
What?
He's out. Yeah.
How
you
could he
type
be
in his
out?
name. He's just, I mean, how's
He's
he?
pretty much the face of them.
He was. I don't.
Man, you can get some good deals right now.
Where? I don't even see him.
eBay.
Oh,
You got to go to eBay. That's the only place I see him right now. What do you think happened?
I'm googling it. Oh,
We can go to break and come back with the hot topics of the day if you'd like.
I'd rather just do this.
Okay. Your call.
God,
I'm
made
still
from
on the ride.
made from 100% merino wool. I mean, this wasn't.
Yeah, this was all the.
This
went back to 2019, and now it's gone.
I'm linking directly to it off of the Ohio Golf Journal.
How much can
article.
Bishop make off of eBay if he puts it on the market?
Not much. No, it's
probably
gone.
not much.
It's straight up gone.
It's gone. Yeah, it's over. It's done. This I've got 3 in this one. I got this one, and then I got one that's like like the colors that Z has right now,
Yep.
which is like the gray and navy. And then I've got a black one with a Muirfield Village logo.
Oh, nice.
Which is strong.
Very nice.
Very, very strong. All right. Anything you can glean from Coach?
No.
Yeah. It's truth. I mean, it's the real truth.
I mean, it is.
Everybody's
it's
rehabbing.
April 16th. They've been in the building for less than 48 hours.
Right. And he's not going to give updates on any of the health stuff. So
not going to tell you who's
he's
here
not
and
going to
who's
tell
not
you who's
'cause
going to
it's
call
voluntary.
plays. He's not going to tell you who's here and who's not. So it's just, it's tough.
Yep.
It's really, really tough. We did have a fun day here today. Christian Kirksey retiring as a Brown. Rashard Higgins retiring as a Brown. Kirko will join you a little bit later.
That's right.
So you have that to look forward to, which is very nice. Our quarterback is going to speak.
We believe so.
At some point, it's kind of fluid.
Yeah. Players were supposed to speak before Coach. Now they're speaking after Coach.
Okay, so it's possible that Deshaun Watson will be at the podium today, and if so, we'll have that for you as the day goes along. Plenty of news in the sports world. We have some numbers that we want to share with you. Social media was interesting this morning for us, I thought. Oh, no? We're supposed to act like nobody's...
Yep,
okay.
correct.
Oh, it didn't happen. All right, fair enough. Well, how about we take a break, Gibbe? Would you like that? We'll take a quick timeout.
White are you referring
If you have a
I
shot
don't
of
know.
Jameson, that'd be great, too.
It's Tuesday.
It's
not even
By
a
the
first
way,
Friday.
where's this thing about the Masters in the rundown? I'm looking for it. This is what I'm most
It's at
excited about today.
2:15, Smalls. Pay attention.
We're
just
trying.
asked.
You just said it's
right
all
under
fluid,
the Griff
Gibbe.
fact of the day.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. By the way, down 20% on the ratings at Augusta for the final
It was a
round.
boring final round.
Yeah, and none of those guys move the needle at all. None of them.
Scheffler needs to win a Grand Slam, and then he'll move the needle.
He won't even then. He's not interesting to the non-golfer.
I thought it was pretty interesting that after you guys conspired to have me lose that Masters pool, that instead of racing home to his pregnant wife,
Imagine if, like in the middle, like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. Segura's gonna take Scheffler first. After he takes him, let's pretend that there's a pregnancy.
No, and he
issue.
was in on it.
And
I
he
mean,
was in on it. We communicated with him.
Even in his post presser, he was like, I want to answer your questions, but I need to get home to Dallas.
But then he went home and went
so
to a
he could
bar.
go to the bar.
So
for 5 hours.
It's like going home to the trolley house.
So he's
which
just
I
like the
love.
rest of us. He's just like the rest of us. Go here.
Hey, pregnant wife, come to the bar with me. Celebrate.
That's fine.
You got a designated driver. Smart.
That's it. Very smart.
Well done.
All right. So we got a lot to get to. We're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rolling Stones Hackney Diamonds Tour, Saturday, June 15th, Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. Visit clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Rolling Stones for more information. Big day here at the CCMC.
Oh, baby.
Kirko, Hollywood, one-day contracts to retire as Browns. You and Kirko, man, I remember you guys were tight, man.
Yeah,
he was
I
in here
love
with
Kirko.
us a lot. Hollywood was in here a couple of times, not as much as Kirko. Kirko was in a lot. He was constant.
Yeah, he was the captain. He was, in many ways the face of the defense, dog check, all of that.
That was his last year, right? Was when the dog check thing
Yeah.
became,
And
and that was the one where we were like, oh, we're gonna. Was that the year where we were picked, like the fourth pick to win the Super Bowl? Was that his
That was
last
19.
year? Yeah, that was it.
Yep.
Coming out of Baker's rookie year,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yep.
That was pure joy, that camp.
He is, and he's just such a high-quality individual. And I remember when he came out of Iowa, he had won the award that was basically voted on the guy, basically the best guy with the most heart on the team. He won that award. He lost his father early in life, and I just was always struck by how mature and focused and driven he was. And then he comes here, he's multiple-time captain, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee with the Browns, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee with the Texans. There are not many people that have done that on two organizations. He's just he's a great guy. And you think about, from that 2014 draft class, which certainly had some notable flameouts. You had Kirko play for 9 years, and Joel Bitonio's still going. So
yeah,
it's impressive.
Who would that have been? And who's the GM in 14?
Ray Farmer.
Ray was? Okay. Yeah.
Do you remember our first two picks in that draft?
Is that John Football and Gilbert?
That's right.
Yeah.
And then Joel Bitonio was our third.
Well,
worked out well.
Listen, if your first three picks and one of them elicits a gold jacket,
not bad.
Which Joel's on the path for. He needs to stack a couple more, but he's starting to get in the vicinity. He just needs the longevity now. That's okay.
Yep.
Now,
that is okay.
Ideally, the other two aren't spectacular flameouts and are contributors.
Sure.
That would be more helpful.
They would make it survive their rookie contracts
That
in the
would
league
be
at large.
In the league at large,
Yeah.
yes. That has to be a record of players drafted by one team in the first round who did not get a second contract from anyone in the league.
Who didn't even stay in the league for their rookie contract.
For the rookie contract. What happened to Gilbert? I'm asking. I don't know.
Cut here, went to the Steelers, I want to say, for a year, and got cut
I wonder
there.
if
And that was
his alarm clock worked there, because it certainly didn't work here.
Yeah, it's wild.
There he is. All right, here's our 2014 draft.
Trouble waking
Justin Gilbert, who played 3 years in the league. Johnny Manziel, played 2 years in the league. Bitonio, 10. Christian Kirksey, 9. Terrence West, who played 4 years in the
Running
league.
back.
And then this was an underrated pick here. Pierre Desir, who played 8 years in the league and actually got paid quite nicely by both the Colts and, I want to say, the Jets.
Good dude.
Out of Lindenwood. Great dude. Great dude.
You want to know where Justin Gilbert is? He's playing for the Sioux City Bandits.
He's not playing football. What are you talking about?
So it says.
What are the Sioux City Bandits?
Sioux City Bandits are bolstering their roster for 24. The National Arena Football League. Defensive back Justin Gilbert signed for the 2024 season. This was in December. Let me just make sure it's the right Justin Gilbert. Defensive back. The Oklahoma State product. Yeah. This is Sioux City, Iowa. Sioux City Bandits bolstering their roster. National Arena League announcing the return of considerable defensive presence with the re-signing of defensive back Justin Gilbert. The Oklahoma State product was the 8th overall pick in the 14 draft to Cleveland, registering the tackles. We mentioned that. This will be Gilbert's second season in Sioux City. So he's still plugging, and playing.
So in this draft,
you think his experience is a little different in Sioux City than it was here as a rookie in terms of just what comes with playing in the NFL versus whatever that league is?
I would imagine. Going back to that 2014 draft.
Would you have had him still playing?
No.
Isn't that amazing?
Not at all.
Does that count?
Yeah, it counts. He's still plugging away playing football. I mean, you wouldn't.
What's the
I guess it
salary,
depends
though?
on how smart you were with your money. He was a first-round pick. He was 8th overall. Like, you would have got so much guaranteed. Hopefully there was some smartness with that. He would need to work, but he wouldn't need to be – I don't know that you would have to grind away playing arena football. Maybe.
I don't know. He's an American football cornerback for the Sioux City Bandits. So
Yeah, I just told you that.
He had not played anywhere, since 2016. So he's attempting a comeback. On January 13th, 23, he signed with the Sioux City Bandits of the Champions Indoor Football League. On December 18th, 2023, he re-signed with the Bandits for their first season in the National Arena League. Is that different than Arena? Isn't that AFL?
That all went away. I don't know. Arena football came and went and then was back, so I don't know. He made He had $25 million in guarantees in his contract.
I was going to say, Spot Track had him a 4-year, almost $13 million contract, including a $7.6 million signing bonus, 12.8 guaranteed, an average annual salary of 3.2.
But he didn't play it out.
Yeah, on over the cap, they just said total guarantees 25.6. I don't know.
So
looks like he ended up around 10.6 in career earnings.
There are 6 teams in this National Arena League. The team's typical payroll budget is $600,000 per season. Players are usually paid $200 a week before taxes. A veteran can make $225 with potential raises for loyalty.
Yeah, that's a far cry. Far cry. That's wild, though. I wouldn't have had him still playing.
No.
Go back to you had some comments about 2014 that you were interested in.
Yeah, I was to say that draft. Originally, if I'm remembering this correctly, we had the 4th pick, and we traded it with Buffalo. Is that right? Do I have that?
I don't know. It's before my time on the day-to-day paying attention to it.
Was that?
I don't think we picked 8th. I think we traded out of it, and that's how we got 2 first-rounders. Anyway, that draft class, 2014 draft trade. So the Browns gave the Browns gave up number 4, and in exchange got number 9, Buffalo's 1st and 4th rounder the following year. Right, so I did have that right. So at number 4, they came up and took Sammy Watkins. Pick 5 was Khalil Mack. Pick 6 was Jake Matthews. Pick 7 was Mike Evans. Remember, the Vikings were supposed to pick 8, and they
blew it, didn't they? They
blew
couldn't
it.
get up there.
And so we went 8th and picked Gilbert. They picked Anthony Barr. Now, within a few picks of that pick, so 3 before it, Jake Matthews is still in the league today and has had a very nice career. Khalil Mack is a stud. Mike Evans is going to be a Hall of Famer. Khalil Mack's probably a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, right there.
And then behind that, you've got at pick 12 was Odell, who for 4 years was unbelievable, his first 4 years in the league. And Aaron Donald was pick 13.
That's the worst. I mean, we're not doing worst misses, but I'll tell you one that's bad, that first. But the one, you could have just had Miles and a quarterback.
Okay, Miles
and Deshaun. You could have just taken Miles and Deshaun from Jump Street. That would have solved.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that come back. But thank God you got Miles. It could have gone a lot worse. You could have gone Trubisky one, and then what a mess.
Oof.
What a mess. All right, we've got some jersey number swapping that has happened. Some of these things official. I think most of the stuff we knew, right?
So Jerry Jeudy
going
3.
To 9. We knew Jeudy to 3.
Jameis Winston 5. Grant Delpit 9. Tyler Huntley 10. Rodney McLeod 12 this year. Naheem Hines 22. Deontay Foreman 27. Justin Hardy 28. Devin Bush 30. Tony Brown 38. 58 Jordan Hicks. 72 Quentin Jefferson. 74 Hakeem Adeniji. 81 Michael Woods, that's a new number. Giovanni Ricci goes 87. Isaiah Thomas with another new number, 96. And then Cade York, 36.
That last one is noteworthy from the standpoint of, is this the first time that a kicker has ever been issued a number that is not a single digit or a teen in the NFL? I know that
wasn't the
Hop is
guy
here still, but
wasn't the guy for the Colts?
I don't know.
Like
Blankenship, did they give him like a double-digit weird number?
Rodrigo. Let's see.
Usually the NFL, you had to be single digits or teens.
He's the one that popped in my mind, but I could be completely wrong about it. Let's see. Rodrigo. I need some pictures. I need images. No. He was 98 in college.
Sure. In college, they give him 98, 48, that type of stuff. But
no, he was 3.
Usually in the pros, you have
3 and 15 in the pros.
Now, I don't know if this would hold if Cade were our starting kicker. If that were to happen and he were to be elevated, I wonder if he'd have to wear a single or a teen. but you never see them in the NFL. You never see kickers. But the problem is, all the teams in single digits are now taken by position players.
Yep. And notable ones.
Notable, yeah. Delpit wanted 7 before we got D-Hop.
Yep.
He wanted 7.
So kickers and
wasn't-
punters can now wear
Scottish Hammer was 7, right?
7.
But then once that became available,
So the new rule is no punters because of that, because of the rule you're
Yeah.
referencing. Punters and kickers are now given eligibility to use numbers 20 through 49 and 90 to 99.
so it'll be just like college.
So punters and place kickers can go 0 to 49 and 90 to 99.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've seen anybody.
No, that's
in
why
that.
that's why it was noteworthy to me. Like it's the first time I've seen one issued.
Yeah.
But there aren't any other single and teams
What was
left.
the guy that was here with us at the end of last year?
I only paid it. You mean kicking?
Yeah.
When everybody got hurt in the first Houston game?
Riley Patterson, wasn't that his name?
He might have been in the 30s.
I
Was
think
he?
was.
Did they
I think
give
he
one
was
in there?
Yeah, he was 36. And he was 36 for the Lions as well.
There we go.
Okay, and he kicked in the game
In
with
the
that?
games for us,
Okay,
so yeah.
Yeah.
He went 1 for 1. And on
Yeah,
field
because
goals
we
and
all
extra
held our
points.
breath. We're like, well,
Yeah, hopefully this goes well. Yeah. But whenever D-Hop is done here, that 7 will be issued to a player, position player, and then that'll be the end
That
of it.
might be it. Yeah, that could be it.
That'll be the end of it. So from now on, they're going to be in those numbers. Roster move yesterday. Drew Forbes with a failed physical designation, so released him and re-signed Sam Kamar with an exclusive rights free agent deal on that.
And there it is.
Drew Forbes has been bouncing around. He was Prospect X, wasn't he?
He was.
All those years ago. Like he's been
I was
bouncing
trying
around.
to explain to the youngins about
Drew Forbes.
Project X.
I mean, all things considered, it worked out kind of well for him. You know, he was drafted in 2019, Prospect X, 6th round pick out of southeastern Missouri State. He played in 2 games as a rookie. He opted out of COVID, played in 1 game in 2021. Browns let him go, went to Detroit, played a game there, came back to the Browns, played 9 games in 2022. Never started a game in his NFL career, and now, unfortunately, was released. But last year was actually looking really good, and then he got hurt.
Didn't he opt out? He opted out with COVID, right?
Yeah,
Is
he
that
did
what
in
you said?
2020. Yeah. So, I mean,
Made a living, man.
that's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
think he went, where's career? So, a few $1 million. I mean,
It's pretty good.
not bad.
Yeah, you'll take it. Hey, you guys remember when I signed up for Sunday Red?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was not selected.
Sad.
No. Just got the
3.3 he made.
Sorry you were not selected for the Pines collection. Stay tuned for information on future Sunday Red select opportunities. No, I'm good. I'm good. You had it. You should have launched it. You should have been ready to go at Augusta. My guy's 16 over, last among people who made the cut. You should have been ready.
Yes.
It's your fault.
Yep.
Agreed.
And by the way, like if you're not, I remember all the stuff I had to put in. Didn't I do that on the show where I signed up
Yeah,
for it?
yeah.
Like all the stuff I had to put in. I am the target.
You are.
I'm the guy that you want.
Missed opportunities.
Sad.
I don't get what the thought process with that
I've
is.
never. No, it makes no sense. I don't get it at all. Makes absolutely no sense. All right, we will go around the sports world. Coming up next, you'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Hey, it's Bo here for James B. Beam Distilling Company. Some say that rye whiskey having itself a moment. I would agree. Overholt has been having a moment for over 200 years, Dr. Z. Legacy continues today with A. Overholt, the latest chapter in their ever-evolving story of American rye. Taste what 2 centuries of experience can make with a robust Pennsylvania-style rye whiskey. The new thing in rye is also the oldest thing in rye, and it's available now at liquor stores near you. Around the sports world we go, my friend. Tight end T.J. Hawkinson believes low hits are something the league needs to look into. Where are we supposed to hit? The abdomen?
I mean, part of the way you get somebody to the ground is you take their legs out.
It goes back
football.
to the Minka play on Chubb.
Yes.
You hate it.
But
like, it's just it sucks. It sucks that it happened to Nick.
And
it's
the
last
tight
thing
end,
anybody
you can't
wanted.
tackle him up high. You're a little cornerback.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Right. You have to be able to tackle people.
Yes. This next one's crazy.
All right. Coach Prime will only allow his son, Shedeur Sanders, and cornerback Travis Hunter, who's the more notable of the two, to play for the following 6 NFL teams in 2025.
By the way, I don't know that he has the right to allow them to only play for these
Well,
teams.
he could do what Archie Manning did.
First
your
of
kid
all,
better be Eli. Travis Hunter he's sure thing. Like,
Yes.
he's a dude.
Yeah,
for sure. But he also hasn't been healthy. I mean, he got banged up last year because he had him playing corner and receiver and 80 plays a game. These are the 6: Niners, Cowboys, Washington, Baltimore, Atlanta, and Philly.
Washington?
Just because he played there?
That's
what it
obviously
is
the
the
only
guess,
reason.
right? And then Philly. Yeah, I don't know.
So, like, I find this hard to believe that he would not allow them to play for McVay in L.A.
Right.
He would not allow them to play for Harbaugh in L.A. in a dome where he talked about how important that is.
Yeah.
He would not allow them to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right. Miami Dolphins?
He would not allow them to play for the Houston Texans.
Miami? I think Denver Broncos in his own state.
He wouldn't let
they give him luxury passes and all that. You can't play for the Broncos.
Can't play for the Broncos. That's weird.
Yeah.
Can't play for a New York-based team. Can't go be the franchise of the New York Giants.
Right. Here's why this. Look, everything with him's for a reason. So the transfer portal opened today in college football. So right now is free agency. You have until, I think, May 1. Everybody on every roster can go to another team right now with no penalty. Okay? So you want Jeremiah Smith, the kid I keep telling you about at Ohio State, the freshman.
Yeah.
Let's say you're big money booster at Emory, and you're like, which you are, and you say, we want him to play, I want him to be my receiver. And you contact Jeremiah Smith, and you say, I got $10 million a year for you to come play receiver at Emory. And he goes, that sounds great. He could go there and play right now.
Okay.
So that's where we're at. So what I think this is about is, remember me? Remember when I started 3-1 and 10 million people were watching our games? That's what this is. This is remember me. Because he doesn't want to recruit. He said the most stupefying thing I've ever heard. He does not visit high school recruits, and I think he signed less than 5 kids in this last class. He doesn't visit high school recruits because if I start visiting one, I got to visit all of them. Yeah, that's the job. So he's trying to build these teams in the portal entirely. He lost 23 kids. He has 25 coming in the portal.
He lost 23?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's trying to build this team on the fly, and I think he's just trying to get his name out there.
I think it's a lot of pressure, though, because I definitely don't think he's going to be able to dictate this to the net. Like,
no.
And Nate's going to be like,
I think he knows
every
that.
great player that comes to Colorado is only going to go play for these teams.
First of all, I don't know that he's going to be there even after this year. I think this thing's going to end spectacularly. I really do.
Yeah.
You can't build a college football team without recruiting. You really can't.
Now,
not sustainable.
He was able to do it through the sheer power of his will and his personality and his celebrity at a much smaller scale. Like, he was able to
when
be
he's
successful.
at Jackson, you
Yes,
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But now
at a place like Jackson, his son, who's clearly a Division I talent quarterback, and Travis Hunter is a 5-star stud,
are the best players in the league.
Not only that, there's nobody in the vicinity of them. Right? So if you have 2 or 3 of those guys,
you're going to win.
We're good.
Yeah.
At Colorado,
that's not how it works.
Doesn't work that way.
No.
They were playing in the Pac-12. This year they'll play in the Big 12. So that's easier than what the Pac-12 was. But, no, it doesn't work that way. And so you look at Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter was the number one player in the country. He was going to Florida State, and Deion stole him to go to Jackson State. Just think about it from the perspective of if you're Travis Hunter, he had him playing both ways. He'd go run routes, and then he'd go cover. He wore out. I mean, he broke down in 4 games. He got hurt in the Colorado State game, and he was done for multiple games after that. So, no, I think this is going to end spectacularly bad. I'm rooting for him because he's interesting. I'm a fan of interesting. But his plan is
flawed.
It's not at all sustainable.
Feels flawed.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes on the cover of Time magazine, the most influential people in the world. Where are we at? All right.
I would argue he is currently, and as great as he is, he's not even the third most. He is the third. I'm sorry. He is the third most influential person in the Chiefs' orbit right now.
Oh, yeah, because the other two are connected.
That's right.
Yeah. Where is Patrick Mahomes on if you did an American athlete ranking,
okay,
like popularity-wise globally,
okay,
where's he on that?
Number 1 is The Rock.
Or LeBron.
Number 2 is probably LeBron.
Yeah, take Rock out of it because that's entertainment. That's kind of like take him out of it. I'm just saying, they even called that. It's entertainment.
It's professional wrestling, my friend. We're not saying sports and entertainment anymore.
They're not?
No.
I missed the memo. I missed that last night.
To our roots.
Oh, are we?
Professional wrestling.
How did I miss that? Are they going to have to do the?
Because Vincent Kennedy McMahon is not there anymore for good reason.
So now they
liked it. Now it's pro wrestling.
Is that what he wanted it to be?
He wanted it to be sports entertainment.
Okay, so now it's pro wrestling. Are they going to have to stay in character all the time?
The Rock's already not. The Rock talked
I know,
about
but
how great
the
it was
rest of
working
them,
with these guys.
James used to tell me, Laurinaitis used to say, his dad, when he would go get on a plane, he was in makeup.
Yeah, that was kayfabe. You had to keep kayfabe back in the day. Now
they're
people
not.
are too smart to that.
So when you interview him though, do I have to interview in character or as a human?
You probably can do either.
Okay, because Miz will be on with us.
We get some
Miz,
but
some Miz, some
him.
Okay,
but often the guys' characters now are them, but
amplified.
Yeah, turned up. All right, so fine. Take The Rock out.
Take The Rock out.
Fine.
Yeah.
LeBron.
Mm-hmm. He's one.
Does it have to be a current player, or could it be a recent?
No, currently playing, because I think you're going to get to where I want to go with this.
Does Yao Ming currently play?
He's not American.
Well, he'd be at the top of the list. He said
American-born. No, I said American-born.
Okay, American-born.
American-born athletes with the most power globally.
So it would be, and I'm not going to go with current. I'm just going to say, maybe this is making your point, but LeBron, Michael Jordan.
Okay, so that
Tom Brady.
Yep.
Tiger Woods.
Brady's well behind. Brady's not globally. He's it'd be Jordan, LeBron, Jordan.
It actually
would
be Jordan,
Tiger,
LeBron.
I bet LeBron is probably now.
Yeah, but think about the Jordan brand.
The Jordan brand. I don't globally. I wonder. I don't know.
It's nobody. I mean,
so this is my point.
Yeah,
my point is, LeBron is 39 years old.
Yep.
Okay.
Not spring chicken.
There has been and by the way, LeBron James in year 20 at 39 years old. Do you see the stat? Led the NBA in fourth quarter scoring
this year.
Yeah. At 40?
He's unbelievable.
It's crazy. Yeah. Nuts. All right. So, Gibby's texting me. All right. Sounds good.
Heck, mine didn't get texted.
All right. Okay. You think about this. Think of the lineage. Bird Jordan, because basketball is the most globally accessible sport that we have in our country by far in terms of everybody in the world.
Hence non-American born Yao Ming.
Right. Yeah. Shohei Ohtani doesn't count. Magic Bird, Jordan, and then there was a passing directly to Kobe in that era.
Yep.
Although Shaq was in there too, but it was Kobe, then eventually took it. Then LeBron. Who's next? American-born NBA.
Because Steph Curry's winding down. I mean,
he's 36.
Yeah,
he's not next.
No.
Durant's not next. Jokic is going to win his third MVP. Continues to not be American.
Will always.
Yeah. So okay. So baseball, American-born baseball.
Mike
and
Trout.
that sport is Mike Trout. Mike Trout could walk down the street right here, and 87% of the people in this
Wasting
building
away.
would not know who he is.
I'd be like, that guy's in good shape, though.
Guy
I don't know
looks
who
great.
that is. That guy's,
Hey, you play a little safety?
yeah.
I believe our
Maybe
quarterback is coming to the podium.
Maybe you should get in
Right.
the
This
square
is such
circle.
a. All right, here we're going to go there now.
Yeah, we're going to go now.
All right. By the way, you're listening to WKNR 850 ESPN, Cleveland Good Karma brand station.
Doing,
You're down.
throwing wise, that kind of maybe the ramp up process that you're looking at over the next weeks and months.
Yeah, so we have a very customized program for my shoulder, with the help of, myself, the training staff, the Browns, Dr. Elatrosh out in L.A., Elite Autosport, and, Quincy, Billy, really my whole team, Tom, down in Jacksonville. We just put a process that can, ramp up and that's just right for, the right timing to come back and be able to be full go. And I think in this process right now, it's all about load management and not doing too much, even though I probably could. So, we just make sure that we take it a day by day, and we do exactly what everyone came on, months before, got on that call, and we put the plan together just to make sure we're on the right track and stand on the right track and not getting ahead of ourselves.
How is your shoulder responding to what you have done to this point? How is it feeling? How are you feeling?
I feel really good. Very confident in myself and the process that's going. Shoulder's been really well. So just making sure that I don't do anything extra that's going to harm it or anything like that. So I think that's the biggest thing. That's exactly what, Dr. Elatrosh and the guys told me is don't try to do anything extra and rush back. So just follow the script and the plan, and you'll be exactly where you want to be, even better than before.
Are you a good patient? Are you following orders?
Yeah, I try to do just naturally for myself. I try to do a little bit more, but Joe and those guys are keeping me tamed and making sure that I'm just doing exactly what the program says. If it's 8 reps, then do 8 reps. Don't try to do too much afterwards because they're the experts, and I got to follow their lead, and especially Dr. Elatrosh, the surgeon, who been doing our shoulders for a very, very long time, especially a lot of baseball guys. So, my time in LA has been great. Learned a lot from their staff, other players and other athletes that's a part of that. Baseball to football to tennis, golf, all types of guys and ladies that was out there in that facility. I was able to talk to and kind of we can feed off each other.
What are you planning or hoping to be 100% again?
I'm not sure. I mean, the plan is to, come back whenever they feel like, and I feel like we're on the same page that we're ready. So there's not a timeline or a date that we have that, this is when I'm going to be 100%. It's just kind of, how the process, it can be sooner than later. It can be later than soon, So I think it's just really depending on how each landmark we hit and how fast we can get it and how my shoulder is reacting.
So it's fluid. It's unclear to you at this point, like when you're going to be, back to your normal self, and it's going to hinge on, like you said, whether and how your shoulder responds.
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, everything that we're doing is, I'm doing everything that, the doctors have planned out. So if it's throwing 60 balls, if it's throwing 40 balls a day, if it's throwing, it varies, and they have a very strategic program for my shoulder. So it goes, up, down, up, down. I guess, for me, I just take it one day at a time because I don't know the strategy really behind. But I just know that the plan is just going to work out. So I just follow their ideas and their game plan.
How big is this coming up season for you? The first 2, you didn't go at all like you wanted. So how big is this third season going to be for you?
For me, it's another opportunity for myself to just get on the field. I'm not making it bigger than what it naturally is. If I would have played the full year and we would have won the Super Bowl, it would have been the same idea, and vice versa. So for me, it's just taking it one day at a time, building the leadership that we built and carried over from last year, and getting this team exactly where we need to get to. and get ready to play each and every week.
Deshaun, why is it important for you to be back in this first phase of the offseason program?
Well, for me, it's always been important. I don't think my whole career outside of, I've been outside of COVID. This is I've always reported on the first day, so it's always been important for me to just get around the guys, get with the team, build that chemistry, build that friendship, build that locker room that we had last year. And it starts with, of course, the quarterbacks. And if we're in here leading by example and every day putting in the extra time, everyone else is going to see us and follow. And so it's always been very important for me, but also just me being in the facility and being around the coaches and being around the players I love doing it. This is what I love to do. This is why I do it, is just to be able to be around football and everyone that's a part of it.
How can this be? Because Ken Dorsey is now also, you're learning the assistant, getting to know him. How helpful can this offseason program be for that connection with you guys?
Oh, it's very, very good. The time, that's one thing you can't get back is time. And, the time, like you said, just for me being here face to face, being able to hear his voice, hear how he communicates, hear how, he runs things, calls things a little bit different than Kevin or AVP did the previous 2 years. It's good to be around that, and we can kind of communicate. He can do the same thing for him. Get around me and see how I operate, how I learn, what's good, what's not good, what we want to change. And we've been doing that. The first 2 days we've had a lot of conversation and a lot of meetings, and it's been very good.
Impression of now you're allowed in the classroom and you can talk football, what's your impression of the tweaks and changes that Dorsey and Coach Stefanski plan to implement offensively?
It's really good. I mean, a lot of opportunities for the receivers to be able to really showcase their skills. A lot of guys moving around, a lot of guys being able to play different spots, and then myself to just be free and not really kind of controlled in a sense. It's really just kind of go out there and be able to, showcase spread offense, throw it around, run around, and make some plays happen. So that's very exciting for myself.
How do you sort of work through the issue of ramping up and not rushing yourself and them not rushing you, but also installing a whole new offense, getting to know a whole new coordinator, getting timing down with Jerry Jeudy? How do you make that all work together?
It's part of the plan. It's actually part of the process. So everything that, I said that we, as a group, collective group from LA to Jacksonville to, when I say Jacksonville, this is Tom, the staff here, Dr. Elatrosh out in LA, Quincy, my QB trainer, Billy, my personal trainer, we all are on the same page. So everything that is in the game plan and the process is aligned to be able to have those check marks, those timing, and get with the receivers. Okay, cool. In 2 weeks, maybe we have the opportunity to throw to the receivers. When we step on the field, just continue to take it, and that's why I have to take it one day at a time. Because if I try to rush that process, then that might set us back and might extend, whatever that game plan maybe leads to. So everything is aligned with that as far as the new offense, the timing with the receivers, with my skill set getting on the field. So I'm doing everything that I can to make sure I follow that.
Have you been able to let one go yet, or is it still too early in the process?
I've been able to throw. I think it's still early to really let go. When you say let it go, as far as you're talking 50 yards downfield, or I'm throwing full speed. Everything is fluid motion, no hinging or. And when I say hinging, my release point when I'm throwing and things like that, everything is fluid and motion is really good. The velocity and the strength is really good. So it's been well.
Do you expect to, when we get to OTAs and the team gets on the field, do you expect to be able to participate at least in some of those practices?
That's the plan. We talked previously about that. I think we got to see how these next couple of weeks go. I know for Dr. Elatrosh, he wants to be a little bit more conservative, just because it was a joint, the glenoid labrum. So he wants to really make sure that we're not doing too much. And other experts that was a part of it said the same thing. This is an injury that for spring, you want to be a little bit more conservative. And then, this summer and get ready for training camp, that's when there's going to be a time where we can pick that up. So I think he can go either way for that in the next couple of weeks.
Your throwing mechanics haven't changed at all?
No, sir.
Had the labrum repaired as well as the glenoid bone?
No, not the full labrum. So the glenoid, the bone that chipped off in my joint, is called, of course, the glenoid, which is attached to the labrum. So when the glenoid came off the bone, the labrum was the one that was hanging the bone. So he had to pretty much repair that and put that together. So he just pretty much made sure the labrum was good. But there wasn't a full labrum. It was just a partial of the labrum that was connected to the glenoid.
What was your reaction when changing offensive coordinators was made?
It's part of the business. It was, I kind of heard through the weeds of, there might be a change, but I wasn't sure. That's every NFL team, going into it, that there might be changes. Coaches might be leaving. Coaches might get fired. But, me and AVP have a great relationship. We built that over the last 2 years. We went to dinner, talked about vacation, and still talk to this day. So, I think he's going to do a hell of a job over there in New England. And then, of course, when with Dorsey here, he's going to do a heck of a job for us to be able to try to take this offense to another level. So as far as my reaction, of course, I love AVP, but, business is part of this, and, that's out of my control.
Did you think that that Dorsey's offense is more adaptable to your strength?
I guess so. I'm still learning Dorsey's offense. I know he had quarterbacks like, Josh Allen, Cam Newton, running his offense, and those are very similar guys to myself. But for me, I just try to, whatever offense is getting called, I try to execute as best as I possibly can. So, hopefully, it'll be able to showcase my skills that, I've shown before in the league.
Does it matter who calls the plays?
No, they don't.
Why doesn't it matter?
Because they both work together, so they both have the same mindset. They both have the headsets and communicate. So for me, whoever calls the plays is going to call the plays. We, as an offense and as a quarterback, we still got to go execute and go out there and perform.
Deshaun, setting the rehab process here aside, and I know that's tough to do because you're going through it right now, but just strictly from a football perspective on the field, what do you hope is better for you this coming year?
I don't hope for anything. My expectations is super high, and just like everybody else that is a part of this team, a part of this organization, fans, everyone has high expectations, especially for me, and being the quarterback, being the type of player that I am, being the NFL player I am. So I think the expectations is high. I don't think that is a secret. So for me is to go out there and perform very, very high to lead us to an opportunity to go get the ultimate goal. But first it starts now in the spring, building that, leading into training camp, taking care of our business in the division, and then, we'll see what happens when we get that opportunity in the big dance and see where we go from there. But, that's a long ways from here. We got to focus on what's right now and being present in a moment. But I don't have any hopes. I know exactly what I'm capable of doing and being, and, we just got to go out there and have the opportunities to do it.
What's been tougher through this whole process? The physical, the pain, dealing with the pain, or the patience you have to, because you talked about the specific plan and, the way they've set it up with load management and everything, the patience you have to show to recover fully to get back to where you hope to be?
If I had a pick, I would say neither, but because the pain haven't really been a problem. And I think that's one thing that Dr. Elitrosh was super, super surprised, especially when I first got to him in November, is how did I play in that Baltimore game. Really the Cardinals game too, but especially the Baltimore game. He was amazed by that. But so if I can play through that right now, the glenoid is healed, and it's just building that endurance and the management of just throwing footballs constantly and not getting it tired. So I think that part is good. As far as being patient, I mean, I've gained and learned how to be patient the last 3 years. So for me, that's not a big part either. I think it's just honestly just staying focused and on track of what they're allowing me to do, and just taking it one step at a time. And if I can do that and focus on myself to be the better person, be the better teammate and player that I can be through this process, then I think that's the best thing.
Sean, are you saying that, is there some thought that perhaps you suffered the fracture before the Baltimore game, that you maybe had some of the fracture going on in the Cardinals game?
It's possible. I'm not sure. He was just amazed how I was able to play those 2 weeks, dealing with what the pain, especially for what he's seen over his years with baseball guys, not really football guys, but baseball guys that kind of dealt with, shoulder injuries.
They think now that perhaps, I'm sorry, why do they think perhaps now that, because we, of course, thought that you fractured the shoulder during the Baltimore game, like first half, and came out and played that amazing second half. But what's the new, information here? Like, why do they think maybe you suffered it earlier, and when do they think that you suffered it, and do you remember when you might have suffered it now?
I don't really remember. I was just, of course, from the Tennessee game, I was dealing with, just shoulder injuries. So I think, with him, just over his years, just kind of, he don't know, because it don't really happen in football with this injury. It's a lot of baseball guys. So for him, it just goes back to his baseball experience. So that's why he was just kind of worried. No one knows when it actually happened, or when that bone actually came apart. I knew for sure in Baltimore, though, because I heard some clicking sounds. And that's one of the indicators that, something is wrong with that joint. But that's probably a question for Dr. Elatrash and why he pretty much said that. I just know that he was just very amazed how I finished both of those games.
So is there a chance it could have happened on that hit in the Titans game? Are you saying that even all the way back to then, and the rest of the shoulder problems that you suffered could have been tied to that original hit, possibly?
Possibly. I'm not even sure. Yeah, possibly.
Could we expect to see you play preseason games? Is that the plan, right?
I think that's a Kevin and AB question.
Dr. Elatrash, is he opposed to it because he's unconservative?
We haven't even talked about the preseason, honestly, other than training camp and what we're doing throughout, practice and stuff. But as far as preseason games, I'm not sure.
Share with the fact that this isn't a common injury in football, especially. Has that been, I guess, difficult to wrap your head around, that there's not really a comp that you can compare your timeline to, or the rehab to, or talk to anybody really about that's gone through something similar?
Yeah, especially in the football space, it's definitely different. But like I said, it was a lot of baseball guys, a couple of pitchers that I got close to. A guy that played with the Dodgers, last year he pitched. He did very, very similar. A guy that reached out to me last week from Boston, Trevor, I think his name Trevor Story. He did the very same thing to me, what he did with his shoulder last week. So, there's different baseball guys that came through, and I think a volleyball girl, she had the similar injury, labrum. And a couple basketball guys that were out there too. So, yeah, we all just like I said, we all come in there, we put in the work, but we able to communicate because we're dealing with the same thing, so we help each other out. So I think that was the closest thing.
Couple more. On behalf of our community, want to thank you for opening up a business, and you're employing young folks. I know you did the same thing in Houston when you had the restaurant and you employed people. Is that something that is just innate within you to give other people an opportunity, or is it something else? But again, thank you for opening up that business in our community.
Yes, sir. No, thank you. And yeah, this is something I've always done since I was in high school. People gave me opportunities coming from where I come from. I didn't have much, single parent mom, so that was something that I want to use this opportunity to do the same thing, is be able to give opportunities for people to have jobs. And I know this community around here won't, and looking for opportunities like that. So if I can be able to, somehow give back and help it out, help Cleveland out, this is definitely, where I want to be, and this is what I want to do. So It was very important for me and my team, and we want to continue to do that and build around here, not just in restaurants and in that space, but in rec centers and boys and girls clubs, all things like that is definitely on the list, and we're just waiting for the right time and to be able to release that. But we've been a part in the community for that too.
As you ease back into things and other guys that are dealing with injuries ease back into things, how valuable is this first phase in terms of the time in the classroom and the time that you're putting into learning this playbook and just really getting into things like that?
That's very important. I think the mental side of the game is very important, especially with a new OC. Certain things are going to carry over, but it's going to be a lot of new things. And, we got to know how he communicates his offense. He communicates the way that him and Kevin are communicating, so we all can be on the same page. It's a lot of different new moving parts, especially throughout the position groups. The offensive line, who's very familiar with, the pass of what they've been, coached on, and then you got the receivers, the running back. So as an offense, it's been great, but we seen it on the defensive side last year that, when we brought in a new DC, how everything kind of meshed together. And if we can put the time in like they did last year, I think we can do the same thing and take a huge leap.
Across sports, there's sometimes guys who have a serious injury and there's a mental block, right? They sometimes struggle to get back to the player that they were. I'm just curious, how much of your recovery has been and will be just a mental thing for you, and if that's been a factor at all.
It won't be. It won't be.
I asked Kevin this about the offense and how it's going to look now that you've had a couple of classroom sessions. Is it going to be noticeably different for folks watching this, or is it the changes more nuanced and subtle, do you think?
I think we might have to wait and see on that one. We might have to wait and see. I can't give too much information on that one.
That was Kevin's answer too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
You're up. All right, there you go. Deshaun Watson at the podium. Take a quick time out, and then a lot to digest there. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Be part of one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Join Next Gen STM, presented by Ticketmaster, official waitlist to your Cleveland Browns. Being a Next Gen STM, the best chance to become a season ticket member in future seasons. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/nextgenstm to reserve your spot today. Here are the two quotes that jumped out to me from Deshaun Watson's availability. It doesn't matter who calls plays.
Yep.
Pretty emphatic. I thought the most noteworthy thing, though, is that he is able to let it rip. He's able to throw 100%. So that was – when he said that, then I'm like, okay. That's kind of what we're waiting on. It's irrelevant, the date when he's all back. All that matters is September. That's the one that matters. So I don't care. I don't need to see him in the preseason. I don't need to see him at minicamp. As long as he's throwing with full velocity, and he said he was, then I'm good.
I just want him to get the reps in this offense, especially if we're going to tweak things that are things that he's more comfortable with. You want to see him be able to get that and get the timing with Jerry Jeudy, get the timing with his pass catchers down. But, yeah, it sounds like we're in a much better place than perhaps we could have been. And that he'll be good to go. And then the other thing, that it's an uncommon injury certainly in football, but that he's had, other people that he's talked to, and that the doctors are very pleased with how he's recovering and progressing, and the fact that he was able to do what he did against Baltimore, which is the last time any of us saw him play football for the Cleveland Browns, to go 14-14 with it fractured is nuts.
Nuts.
So, look, this season in many ways, you can't say it's going to go how Deshaun Watson goes, because now last year in the games that he started,
the ceiling is going to go where Deshaun Watson goes.
We were 5-1 with him as a starter last year. Throw out Indy though, because he really didn't play that game. So 4-1 with him as a starter last year. So that's a good starting point. But we still were able to achieve without him. But if he can be elite again, if he can be a top, he doesn't have to be top 3 in the league, but if he can be top 8 in the league, top 10 in the league, this team can win the Super Bowl.
You cannot win the Super Bowl if he's not.
I think that's probably right.
That's it. You're not going to beat Mahomes.
This is a team that
you're not going to beat Allen. You're not going to beat the other people in this conference. Burrow healthy. You're not.
This is a team that the Super Bowl should be.
Yeah, this roster is built to go win the Super Bowl. If he can get back to that level, then go chase it. Go chase the Lombardi. If he can't get back to that level, or if he's hurt and banged up and not 100%, then the ceiling's different. So it changes the way we view the season entirely based on him. And that's a lot, but that's what being a franchise quarterback in the NFL is.
Well,
that's the job.
And that's one of the things about this team and this roster as it is right now. Like going in the draft, there isn't a starting spot that's open to be drafted. There really isn't. I mean, you could maybe make the case that if you took a stud defensive tackle in the second round, that maybe a stud defensive tackle could start. Maybe you can find a starting Sam linebacker.
Yeah.
Although Tony Fields, I think, is likely to be that guy this year. But that's kind of it, folks. And so it's odd. Even this offseason is an interesting offseason.
You and I were talking about it off air.
Because this is a team that is going to be judged solely on what happens. We're not trying to find a savior. We've got all the talent. Everything's here. We're not, this isn't a franchise in turmoil. In fact, it's got the most stability it's had in my entire time, decade plus, with this football team.
Yeah, Pumpkinhead tweeted something out today. 8-1 at home.
8-1 at home last year. It's the most they've ever won at home.
Like it's a totally new era. Like it's been this way for really since the drafting of Baker. Once he came in that second year, you've done it in a bunch of different ways with a bunch of different people and different looking teams and different styles. But there's been a winning operation the last 5 years. Largely.
Yeah. The record, it certainly would be close.
You got to be right around 500.
Yeah.
All I know is winning.
Yeah, Stefanski's over 500 for sure.
Yeah, but if you go back to Baker's
18
draft.
was his first year where we didn't quite make it, and then 19 was not so hot.
Right.
20 playoffs.
Yep.
21 middling, not so hot. 22 was solid.
Yeah, but the injury.
But Deshaun gets 11 games instead of what we thought. Jacoby plays well, and then last year 11-6. Stefanski's got to have a winning record. I think for sure. I don't think there's any doubt.
Yeah. I said that emphatically. Now I want to double check it. I think you're right. I think it's right near.
He's going to be, from 18 on, would be a little bit dicier. But Stefanski's got a winning record.
Yeah, because you got a 10 winner. Yeah, okay. So 7-8-1 and 18.
Okay, so 1 under 500.
6-9. Or 6-10 and 19.
Okay, so that's 5 under.
11-5.
So that's 6 over.
8-9.
So Stefanski's 5 over 500 right now.
7-10,
2 over.
11-6.
7 over 500. For Stefanski, in the first 2 years you said were
a net
5 under.
5 under. So 2 over.
2 over since 2018.
All I know is winning.
That's it.
That's right.
And
There
if
you
you
go.
just go back up one season.
Nope. I don't know anything about that.
I do.
That's for you to sort out. You and Gibbe can sort 16 and 17 out. I'm 18 on.
No, thank you.
That's all I know is 18 on. But it goes to something you and I were talking about off air. When you don't have first-round picks, when you have just second, sometimes don't have a second, when you're waiting in the draft.
Rounder in 2 drafts.
2 drafts, right. So no first, no second.
Yep.
Right? You're busy in free agency, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right? You have stability in coaching, stability in front office. You have a quarterback that's now going. This is our third off season with Deshaun. We acquired him. Yeah, third off season with Deshaun, and unfortunately around him, because we've had uncertainty in the off seasons, we haven't been able to build on things.
Yep.
Back. So it's almost this off season. It's deja vu all over again in a way, right? Because we're all just be healthy and look good and let's go because everything else is in place.
Yep.
So it's been that way since 2020.
Do you think there's such a fascination with? Why do you think there's such a fascination with who calls plays? And number one, I'm gonna ask 2 questions. So let's start with that. And the second part matters too. This guy's been the coach of the year twice in the NFL. In 4 seasons as the play caller.
So I don't think it's necessarily that people think that he should give up play calling. That would seem to be silly if that's the angle that they're trying to push.
I think a lot of people seem to think that. You don't hear people being like, why are we even talking about play calling? Of course Kevin Stefanski should call the plays.
I just think it's a matter of – I think there's some old heads that are like, look, offensive coordinators should call plays. Head coaches need to worry about everything else. That's kind of an old head way.
We're the best game management team in the league.
Correct. And if you think about all of the teams that are good offensively, the best offensive teams, Miami, San Francisco, us, Rams, the head coach calls the ball plays.
Yes.
So that's the model.
Even
Green Bay. I mean, there's
even Sirianni, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Andy Reid?
Yeah. Andy Reid? Yeah. No, the best teams, they do it. So, the notion that you couldn't or shouldn't, I don't understand it. Cincinnati calls plays. I'm just going through the list. In the East, it would be Miami, head coach and play caller. In the North, it would be us and Cincinnati.
We have defensive head coaches in the other 3 teams in the East.
Right. We should make that that delineation. Offensive-minded coaches who don't call plays, who are they? Who's left? They all do.
So
all right. So you got Miami
East
calls
is
plays.
McDaniels.
In the North, it would be both us and the Bengals call plays.
Monken, Harbaugh is again not an offensive coach.
Not an offensive coach. Neither is
Tomlin. So go to the South.
In the South,
defensive coach. Jags was Doug Peterson, and he called plays.
Yep.
Colts, Shane Steichen called plays. Titans
Tennessee
will now be
Callahan,
and we'll see.
We'll call plays, I'm sure.
Andy Reid, yes. Antonio Pierce's defense.
Sean Payton,
yes.
Harbaugh probably won't.
Will not.
So I think he's I wouldn't think.
I don't know.
He didn't at Michigan.
Then probably not.
Did he for the 49ers the first time?
I feel like, yeah. But maybe it was Greg Roman with Colin
maybe they
Kaepernick.
Shared it. College is more nebulous because they're signaling in the plays.
Yeah.
So it's not direct conversation.
All right. So Cowboys have McCarthy.
Yep.
Sirianni.
Yep.
Dable.
Yep. Washington is old boy defensive coordinator with the Cowboys last year. Just hired him.
Dan Quinn.
No, defense.
Dan Quinn is defense.
That's what I said. He's defense.
Yeah.
No play call.
I thought you were saying
Eberflus,
yes.
No.
Kevin O'Connell, yes.
Kevin O'Connell. Special teams with
Campbell's a tight end.
Campbell's a tight end. Wasn't he? Yeah.
Ben Johnson calls the plays.
Yeah.
But Green Bay and Minnesota, yes. Tampa, no. Defensive coach. Saints defensive coach.
Carolina.
Falcons defensive coach. Carolina probably will be,
with new. Yep.
Kyle McVay. Seattle defensive coach. Arizona is a defensive coach.
Yes.
Gannon.
So
yeah,
it's
basically
all of them do.
Yeah,
they all do
for the most part.
That's it. That's the league. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. Time now for a little segment we like to call the Griff Fact of the Day.
Fact of the day, fact of the day, fact of the day. It's the Griff Fact of the Day.
Hello, fellas.
Hey, buddy.
So for today's Griff Fun Fact of the Day, we're going to do a little bit of a history lesson, something that my dad taught me
All
a while ago. So,
Papa Griff.
Yes, sir. So, contrary to belief, many of our founding fathers were not as old as you might believe. In fact, on July 4th, 1776, we had people like James Monroe, who was 25, Alexander Hamilton, who was 21, John Marshall was 20, and then we also had James Monroe, who was 18 years old whenever they signed the Declaration of Independence.
Hey, Jefferson was the old head, 33. That's incredible.
So the most amazing, like you think about like Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, obviously that didn't end well.
See the play Hamilton, great musical.
It's great. The idea that like they're 20 and 21 when this is going down.
Yeah.
Who were the old heads? Where were they?
Thomas Jefferson, 33.
You had George Washington, I believe he was 44.
So those are the well in those days though you didn't live much.
How old was John Hancock? That guy.
He was up there.
I made a whole career off of his signature.
It's a beautiful sig.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, when you write with you're writing with a real quill. There's something special about that, the artistry. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So he's born in 1737.
Okay, so he's 39.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Died at 56. So that's kind of where it was at that point.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Just young kids fighting, man. Out there battling
fighting for a dream.
What is the best I think the best books about this time are the McCullough books, like 1776 and John Adams. Is there a series or movie that is great on this era?
Of the actual Revolutionary War?
Yeah. HBO bought the rights to 1776 they did John Adams. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The HBO series John Adams.
Yeah.
That's good. Giamatti's in that.
Yeah, Giamatti's. Yeah.
I haven't seen that in forever, but that's very good.
I haven't seen that in forever.
I don't know. Mel Gibson made a movie, but The Patriot. I don't know.
Patriot.
Is that good?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've even seen that.
What?
I don't think I've seen
Oh,
that.
dude.
Yeah.
There's
I don't know if I could buy him.
Stuff. He is.
I can buy him as an American
top 3
Patriot.
war movie.
Oh,
Top 3 war movie.
Dude.
Who are the other two?
Saving Private Ryan.
All right. Best sea view of the storming of the beaches of Normandy. Band of Brothers did the air view.
Yep.
How are you with that with Miss K, by the way?
With what?
Did you guys watch Band of Brothers? Didn't you watch
We
that?
haven't gotten into that.
I thought you were doing that. Were you
We're
doing that or
going
the
to
Pacific?
because
Which one did you do?
We've done Masters of the Air.
Oh, that's right. That's what
Which
was
is
the
the
catalyst.
Yep.
All right.
Patriot is unbelievable.
Okay.
Like, there really haven't been a ton of movies
during that period
made of that period.
No, there's a lot of World War II. There's a lot of Vietnam. Used to be a lot of Civil War, like when you and I were kids. That was pretty common.
I mean, the
World War I is largely forgotten, and the Revolutionary War is largely forgotten.
The Patriot is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't believe you haven't seen that.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I don't think I have.
Oh, my God. It's like
Yeah.
Gibson, Heater.
Heath Ledger's in that, right?
Heath Ledger is in it. Yep. It is. Dude, it is intense. John Adams was in 2008.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
There was a AMC series called Turn, which was about spies during the Revolutionary War.
Okay.
That was on, but it never got any buzz, so I didn't know if it was anything that worked or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patriot is good.
All right. This is an interesting question that we have in regard to Augusta National and the Masters. We'll attack it coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, so this was on the X yesterday.
Yep.
Could you win the Masters if you got to start each hole on the green? So
yes.
All right, so
yes, I would.
What did Scheffler end up at? 10 under total?
Yeah, 10 or 11. I mean, it was.
Okay,
I didn't watch him finish on 18.
Okay, so 3 under a day is what it takes.
Yep.
Okay, so for sure you could. There's no doubt in my mind that you could.
I mean, I would.
Could
really
a high
think so.
handicapper, or could
no?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. Okay. Then the other questions I had with this are
like I think like Jimmy Bang Bang's a 13, but he's a pretty solid putter. I think he could have a chance. I think that's like the cutoff, though. You've got to be like.
That's the number you think?
Yeah, I think probably.
You got to putt it.
You probably got to be an 11 or under to. Maybe
I think
in a
you
single
can.
Digit.
I think you can separate
because
I don't know that the handicap. I think it's more of how good of a putter are you?
Because but that ties into like
it does, but like you're not having to hit off a tee. You're not having to
No.
hit a second shot.
Right.
Like you got a ball sitting on a green.
Right.
Right.
So
it depends as
where they put you.
So I would think in order for the sake of this conversation, you would have to be furthest away from the hole that you can be on the green. Or is it at their discretion? Because there's probably some places there where you put it on a green and it's the impossible place
It
to
is
putt
the
from.
furthest spot.
Furthest spot. So in
how
some
this
instances,
started.
that might be easier than if they got to pick the hardest spot. The furthest isn't necessarily the hardest.
No, I don't think there's any. Yeah.
I think it'd be very tough.
You can 4-putt a par 5 for a birdie. If you can 3-putt a par 5, that's an eagle.
Some of those holes, furthest point is over 150 feet.
Oh, yeah. What is it, 13?
All you have to do is can you get your first putt within 20 feet, and then you're going to 3-putt, and that's never going to be worse than a par, and it's going to be a birdie or an eagle on 14 of the
the key to this,
18
I
holes.
think, would come not necessarily for you, but if you want to use Jimmy Bang Bang as the example of the kind of the threshold of this,
Yeah.
the key would be, does he get to have a practice round putting, or is he just going out there blind? The second part of it would be, does he get a caddy, or is he on his own?
And
so if I get a caddy, like even if you don't, the caddy would be more valuable than doing a practice
100%
round.
you'd have a caddy. Why
Okay,
not?
so if I get a caddy and he's saying hit it here,
yeah,
and even if I don't have the tempo exactly right, if I hit that line,
you have a chance.
You got a chance. It's going to be in a vicinity.
Speed, tempo is going to be the most important.
Tempo is going to be all of it. Yeah.
And, I think that the other part when you said about the handicappers, I think it does matter because there's going to be a lot of 3-foot knee knockers that if you're not used to being successful in pressure situations could unravel into 6 putts.
Well, especially if you have a full gallery. If you were
I think this should be televised. I think this would be. I think Augusta should let somebody come in.
Well, they're never going to do
4
it. But
rounds.
you could probably do it at one of the other.
Because it's 4
private
rounds,
places,
and you put the pins exactly where they were, round 1, 2, 3, or 4, and you could have one. It can only be one person at a time. You can't be seeing anybody else's putts or anything like that, but one person. I think it'd be interesting if they did it with a scratch. If they did it with we'll call it a scratch, 8 and a 16.
Yeah.
I think the scratch would win for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 8 has a chance, and I don't think the 16 would have a chance.
Yeah.
Even starting on the greens.
No.
No. Yeah,
30-30.
I'm not great at reading greens. I'm just not.
Well, you have a caddy.
No, but I need to. It's one thing that I, for some reason, cannot master for the life of me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to read it.
All right. It's a fascinating question. It'd be fun
I'd love
to see it.
It would be a great television event. You have pros commentating. Bring Charles Barkley, Charles Barkley,
Chuck,
go for it.
have him be in it because he's between an
He'd
8
be
or a
the-
16 now.
Yeah.
All right. Next level's next. Thanks for listening. Cleveland Runs Daily 850 ESPN Cleveland.